What's happening, folks? Combine has started. Arthur and Terry spoke. Some not great news about Jalen Carter today. Some franchise tags handed out. Somebody was released this week. Got a guest on the show. Let's get at it. And welcome in to episode 91 of Out of Your Falcon Mind, Atlanta Falcons Fancast. My name is John, your host, as always, joined by my boy Mike, who's fighting those allergies, but damn it, he's here because that's just the guy he is.
I wouldn't miss it. I love you guys. Johnny Yates, I'm still very impressed that you made that football spin in intro. Every show, I'm like, how did he do that? John got it. Oh, y'all just saw it. The football spins and goes into the next scenes. It's immaculate, buddy. I love it.
That's great, man. So how you been, buddy? Other than allergies kicking your ass, how you been?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited for our guest to have on the show. We got a lot to talk about. Really feel like it's going to be a dope show, man. I'm excited.
I agree, buddy. So who we are coming to you from the Variety Sports Network. As always, make sure you check out Variety Sports. Check out all the shows they got: basketball, football, baseball, hockey, wrestling, even you name it. Go check them out. Subscribe. You'll like some of the shows you see. I guarantee it. Yeah, man. So, and shout out real quick to Josh Lewis and Josh Edwards on the Variety Sports Network. They had me on the seventh inning stretch on, was it Monday night? It was late, but we talked some NL East. We talked some Braves. Of course, I talked some Braves. We had a great time. So if y'all like baseball, man, check out the seventh inning stretch on Variety Sports. It's a great show. Once a week, they hit pretty much everything to deal with MLB, and they're hitting different divisions, going through that before the season. So good show, man. I've been on there a couple of times. I highly recommend it. And yeah, man, so we do have a guest. So let's just go ahead and bring him on, man. Let's get started. Got to welcome in Mr. Stephen.
What's up, John? What's up, Mike?
Hey, my man Steve. Making his podcast debut. We got him.
I am. And you know what? There's no better place to do it than right here. That's what I'm saying, man. I'm excited for it. I genuinely appreciate being invited up here. It's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, dude. We connected on. Well, I mean, we've connected on Falcons Twitter, of course.
Yeah.
Last however many months, and dude. If y'all don't follow Stephen, make sure you are on Twitter because the man breaks down film and knows what he's talking about. He's a very, very logical Falcons fan, I think. And
sometimes,
everybody has their thing. We get out of our Falcon mind every now and then. It's just
every time.
So but yeah, man. But we're happy to have you on, dude. I know you've went through a lot of quarterback film, and we'll talk about that and just get into everything that we know the Falcons. That there's plenty to talk about this week, man. Especially with the combine and just some of the news and some of the things people are worried about. So it's nonstop, man. And
I'm gonna just jump right in and say Steve was maybe the first one, if not the second or third one, to have a Tyler Agile jersey. Like
I did get that quick.
One of the pioneers. You never seen nobody rocking that yet, and he was maybe the first one on Twitter with it. I love you, buddy.
And outside of the fantastic fucking mustache, he's rocking
I'm always rocking
out of your Falcon Mind shirt right now.
I do. There we go. Model it up for you. There we go.
Out of your mind with the flex.
I am, man. This is my gym shirt. I wear it every time.
Love it. Yeah, I'll put the link, guys, to the store like I do every time in the description. If you want to grab a shirt or a hoodie, we got both those there. We're looking to get a place to make some hats. Haven't found one that I like, but yeah, I've found a design I like. I just got to find the actual pricing that I like, which is a little difficult with hats. All these makers are very, very proud of their hats. I will say that.
Yes, they really are the cheapest one.
Dude, it's insane, man. Let's hit the chat real quick before we get into it, man. John Brooks said they were non-committal about Ritter. I cannot wait to talk about that, and we will get to it.
We will get to it.
Alberto, what's up, brother?
Alberto, that's what I'm talking about.
So have a great show. I'll be tuning in. We appreciate you, buddy. Always.
Appreciate it, man.
Miss Pamela. Good to see
How's
you. Ant, what's up, buddy?
Ant, what up?
Man, we've been great, man. We're better now. Let's see. Jordan, what's going on, guys? Hope you all.
We're doing great. We out of our Falcon mind, Jordan. Come on.
Great, buddy. Appreciate y'all joining us, man. All right, man. So we got an email, man. I got to read out because I promised that, if anybody emails us, I'm going to read it out.
Okay.
So we got one from Javon. And he said, man, I had to send in an email because I could hardly ever make the live shows due to my work schedule. I'm so glad I found y'all. I actually saw John on Pound for Pound and decided to tune in. I was not prepared. Yeah, how about it? Yeah, shout out to JR.
Look at that.
Buddy.
Yo, JR, that's the man.
He said, I wasn't prepared for what you guys hang on a second. Yeah, he said, I wasn't prepared for what you guys bring, and I mean that in a good way. That scared me a little bit when he said that.
I was about to hit the mute button, but go ahead.
He said, I had an idea of what the show might be like when I saw John on Pound for Pound, but I was totally wrong. The way y'all interact with one another makes for such a great
I wonder why.
I love this, man. Please continue.
It's fantastic, man. It reminds me of us walking around like any place.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Pretty much. Anyway, he said the way y'all interact with one another makes for such a great show. The knowledge is great and entertaining as hell. Mike, the 10 stages of video you did might be the best Falcons video I've ever seen. With like 4 laughing faces. Y'all have probably said it before, but how long have y'all known each other? Last thing, do you see us possibly taking a QB in the draft or bringing in a vet to compete? I really don't think they're going to break the bank for Lamar. And by the way, I'm totally Team Ritter. Really appreciate the great content and keep doing what y'all do, Javon.
I love it, Javon, man. We got to catch you on the live stream. I wish you would have said his work schedule. We just did one Saturday, buddy. You might have missed it.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
loving the email, man.
Yeah, dude. So, first question: how long have we known each other? 13 years, I guess. 13 years, right? Maybe. Yeah, 13 years. 09. Yeah, it's almost 14 years. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, no, what you see is, I mean, this is us, man. I mean, like this is how we are. So we connected from day one, man, and it's just. My kid calls him Uncle Mike, and it's basically what it is.
Man, we fucked around like this at work and had a blast, and we fucked around like this on the text or on call every time the Falcons played and had a blast. So we just had a crazy idea. Let's do it. If nobody watches, it'll still be funny that we tanked it, and if they watch it, it'll be funny because they're watching it. So it's kind of dope.
Yeah, we figured after 6 months, if things were not going great, or if it was going the opposite direction, we were just we'll call it a day and go back to texting each other on Sundays. But luckily, it's went up, and we'd actually hit 300 subscribers today. So thank everybody.
Yeah,
love it.
So I know it's a drop in the bucket to a lot of the creators out there, but hey, man, we're just getting started. Got to start somewhere. So we were super happy to have 300. So keep pushing that. Keep telling a friend, and hitting the like button for us, hitting the subscribe. I always forget to say it. Or if I do, I just kind of scale on by it. But yeah, make sure you hit the like button for us. And on the Ritter question, or on the QB question, we'll actually just address that as we get into the show, man. So, but appreciate John. Really appreciate the email, man. That's awesome.
Man, that's the biggest compliment, buddy. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, dude. And I didn't mention as well that if you guys are still checking us out on iTunes and Spotify, like I know you are, hit the 5-star review for us. Drop us a few nice words on iTunes. We'll be happy to shout you out on the show as always. So a little bit of just NFL and combine news to start the show off. So y'all heard, I'm sure today, that Jalen Carter news broke kind of early. And, it all basically allegedly, a warrant went out for his arrest for reckless driving and was it speeding, right? Reckless driving and I think it was, something like that. And from the same night that Devin Wilcock was killed with, the player's assistant or whatever. So I've seen a lot of different takes on it about like his career's over. That's definitely not it. Both of these things are both misdemeanors. What I did read allegedly that his story's changed about 2 or 3 times. Like at first this is the night it happened. He said he was a mile away, and then he said he was. Then like the second time he said he was behind him. The third time he said he was like next to him when the car wrecked. So that sucks. But I chalk it up to like he's a college kid. I mean, yeah, he's an adult, but he's still in college. And I don't know about y'all, but when I was 22 years old, I still did some dumbass shit a lot.
I do dumb shit now.
So I'm not. I mean, I know regardless. I don't know if y'all saw Nolan Smith's press conference, or not conference, but his interview today at the combine. He got in there, defended him, said he's misunderstood. He's one of the best teammates he's ever had. And I mean, regardless if he was behind the car, next to the car, racing, whatever he was doing, and it's not his fault that what happened, but he's going to feel terrible, and he's going to carry that with him the rest of his life. I mean, like regardless. So, does it drop his stock? Maybe. We've seen it happen before. This stuff come out. It's the only thing that kind of puzzles me is the timing of it. Like, it's the day that he's supposed to speak at the combine. Like this, now you put out the warrant. Like it just. I mean, I know it can happen, but I mean that's just a strange coincidence, man, that it happens this day. But yeah, I think, man, it's going to come down obviously to the interviews he has with the teams, and they'll really get into his personality and see what he's about. But I mean, I'm still if he happened to drop to 8, I'll go ahead and take him. I'll take him.
Jalen Carter. I love Jalen Carter, but I just want to say this, man. Don't be so quick to jump on somebody, because it's real easy to do that from the external third position. You wasn't in it. I got a lot of friends that do dumb shit that I was present for. And if we got caught, I'd have been in the jam with them. And I did a lot of dumb shit that my friends was present for that we could have been in jail right now for. So, but that doesn't make somebody always a bad person. That makes somebody a young person or just a person. So be a little reserved before you throw the man under the bus. Make sure you get the facts before you do that, because that could be just a regular person who made a mistake or was in concert when a mistake was made. So just put out a little bit.
Nah, I'm 100% with you. It's terrible. It always feels kind of nasty to me to even talk about like draft discourse when it's like, oh, is this guy going to fall to us now because of something like this? But I just hope that, like Mike was saying, you don't judge someone off their worst moment, right? There's a whole person there. They have a bunch of different qualities, and from everything we've heard, Jalen Carter's a stand-up dude. There's no history of anything bad. I mean, people make mistakes. You can't judge them off that forever, right? Again, it might affect his draft grade just because it is something. It's just another tally mark, right? But I don't think it should. And if he falls to 8, then I'd love to see him as a Falcon. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean that's what nobody thought would happen. I mean that we'd have a chance at him because everybody thought he'd be gone by then, unless we traded up, that type of thing. But yeah, I mean I saw an interview with Phil Yates by Myles Garrett from local Fox 5 here in Atlanta, and Phil said he figured that it would affect him some because some teams will drop him because of that type of stuff, and I don't think it's necessarily a character thing, man. I just think it's a kid doing a dumb thing, making a bad mistake. I mean that's. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to get into details of dumb shit I did because, I mean, I'll be like, oh, wow. I mean, like, but, it just happens, Some people get lucky and you don't get caught. Some get caught and sometimes terrible things happen, and that's just he happened to be there when it happened. And, so hopefully, he comes out of it okay and everything is good on his end. And, but it just sucked to have to happen to him today.
Yeah, terrible timing too. Just like right before his combine interview. Like it just sucks. It just sucks. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. What's going on, Miss B?
Miss B. My dog.
Travis said, "What's up, guys?"
What's up? That is the funniest shit I've heard, Travis.
I have not heard that.
I've heard the Rittersons, a couple other ones. I haven't heard.
Jesus Christ, that was a good one.
Oh man,
it's Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah, well, that was the gas mask guy. I think.
Yeah, that was gas mask. Smoking weed with a gas mask or something like that. Which, that's awesome. I mean, that's even worse because he posted like he
knew.
Yeah,
I mean, he's the one who posted it. I mean, like, come on. Alberto said, "I hope he drops right to us at 8." Or is this a case where it's buyer beware? I don't think so, dude. I just, I mean, like, Todd McShay came out, a while back and said, possible character issues. Every year there's somebody that comes out and says, this guy's possible character issues. It's always a top type of guy, and I haven't heard that from Georgia. I mean, like, look, Kirby Smart's straight from Nick Saban's school, man. Like if you screw around or under Kirby Smart, like you're not going to be long for the team,
Yeah.
So,
and I just want to say this. I said this in regards to my own trouble. If I followed it's just who get caught. If I follow any person long enough, I catch you doing something fucked up you have no business doing. I would catch you. I get you right in on camera, and we could throw it up for the world to see, and we call you a scumbag. No. It's just who get caught and who get not. We all kind of good, we all kind of scumbags. It's just where you feel like you fit in. So you try to be mostly good.
Exactly.
Shout out to Jalen Carter, man. I hope it work out for you.
Yeah.
Me too, man. Me too. All right. So a couple of guys got, the main guy that got franchise tagged that we were hoping would not get franchise tagged was Deron Payne.
Yes.
And I think, I think it was 18 million, 18.5, 18, something like that. Which we knew he was going to get, whether it was franchise or whether he was picked up by us or somebody else, he was going to get the biggest bag of any D lineman on the market this year for sure. And I mean, like I said on the last show, Mike, I mean, it sucks because I would have loved to have had him, but with
Steve wanted him too. I saw his Twitter.
I did. I was mad. Why they have to keep the players?
Yeah, man. I mean, but with that money, I mean, we can go out and spend get 2 or 3 guys for the price tag of what Deron was going to cost, and to keep building that depth. Which honestly, like we said on the last show too. I mean, he's a hell of a space eater. He's a hell of a run stopper type of dude, but as far as pass rush, it's not his best thing, whereas some of these other guys, like whether it's Hargrave or Tomlinson or something like that, they actually are better pass rushers, than what Deron would be. So it sucks in a way, but and I'm not super upset about it. And then the inevitable finally happened, and Marcus Mariota was released yesterday. So,
end of an era.
Yeah, I mean, so what do y'all think? There's a slim chance at all that he comes back on a slight deal, or that's it?
I'm gonna tell you why I'm saying no, because of how he left. You can't do that, young. You fucked yourself. You weren't even professional in the end. It's your job, even when you get benched as the elder statesman, to now turn into a coach and a helper for your rookie. You walked off and you left your rookie. That was the most, and you acted like you was balling out and you had no understanding of why that was the crazy part. It was your job to stay and tutor, and just the fact that you was unprofessional. And then again, when we put that film up, all I need to do is the play you tweeted.
Like Carolina game.
You doing this, bro. There's no logical reason for that in an NFL. You getting paid millions of dollars to roll and just throw it up and just hope somebody catch. No, you don't need to be a quarterback. You need to be a dad.
Yeah, that kind of sums it up. I think there was a chance we could have done like the cut him and re-sign him to a cheaper deal if he hadn't left the way he did. Because I do think Arthur would have been like, oh, we have a serviceable backup. If he is going to roll with Desmond, obviously we don't know if he's going to draft anybody, but if they do roll with Desmond, Mariota would have been able to fill that backup spot. They have evidence that he can at least run the offense to a serviceable degree. So I kind of agree with Mike. He kind of screwed himself over because I do think he could have got a backup role, but not after the bad blood that's there now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he might. Do y'all think he's going to be in the NFL next year?
No.
I think he mentioned at some point that he really wanted to start, and that's why he came to the Falcons. So I think even just mentally, he might be checked out and might just be done.
Yeah, I think if he wants to start, he needs to just go ahead and call it a day. I don't think that's going to happen unless there's a catastrophic injury somewhere and there's nobody else left. Then but if he wants to back somebody up somewhere, I mean, it could be a fit. Maybe who knows? I mean, San Francisco, Philly, who knows? That might be a decent fit for him there. And then David here, man, what's up, buddy? He said that's my next point. No tag on Lamar yet, but I'll wait until next Tuesday. And ironically enough, man, the GM of the Ravens today said that he wants him signed before March 7th. He wants it done before then. He wants the contract done. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I still don't know how they're going to pull that one off, or that they're going to cave a little bit or not. But I am waiting for that news. That's just the grenade onto free agency, right? The moment they announced that he's not getting tagged and they couldn't get a deal done and he's testing free agency, I mean, they'll tag him by then because that way they can trade him. But if they don't get a deal done, then it's going to be a wild off season. So it's going to be a grenade when they get that news out there. Big time. Yeah, and I don't know that. I mean, they said that, at this point, it's for sure going to be a non-exclusive. There's no way they're going to go exclusive tag and just have 2 picks and that'd be a day. They're going to put non-exclusive tag on them. So it's at least, 2 first-round picks plus whatever they want to throw onto it, And so it'll end up being 3 first-round picks for whoever it is. But you look at it kind of like it's not really 3 first-round picks because, if you look at Lamar, like, is he equivalent to a first-round talent? Of course he is. So like you're really losing, 2 first-round picks. But regardless, so we'll see, man. That's gonna, like you said, man, it's gonna be a hell of a grenade. It's gonna be that and Aaron Rodgers as well. I mean, he came out and after his
darkness retreat,
man, and said that he imagined what it would be like to be retired. And I don't know why you can't just do this in like a regular room with light. But apparently he needed a dark room that he could sit there and imagine what it'd be like to be retired or to keep playing. And who knows what the hell he's going to do, man. I mean, I don't think he's playing for the Packers again. Let's put that way.
Oh, no. Yeah.
But maybe the Raiders, maybe the Jets. I mean, I don't even know what to think of Aaron Rodgers. And you said it best last week, Mike. The coolest, weirdest, most angry, like dumb, like crazy dude you've ever seen. Man. What that makes no sense.
He's all the adjectives in one person.
Yeah.
And then you got Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I think Norman agrees with us here.
Norman said if Jalen Carter is at 8, you get Jalen Carter. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That is correct. You run that to the podium. You push people out of your way. You trip people. I don't care what you got to do. You get to that podium. You turn in the Jalen Carter pick.
Making a paper airplane and throwing it out down to Goodell, man. He's going to have that.
Get a microphone. I don't know. Something.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
also, press the charges. He the one that.
This is a conspiracy.
Yeah, he waited till like, okay, combine, get him.
Yeah,
then we got him. See how that worked out?
All right, man. So this came out late today, but I had to share it. The Players Association did a grading system of like the strength and the training and all this stuff of each team. So I'm gonna bring this up for you guys. Hopefully you can see it. Strength coaches, D-, 31st in the league. Guys, that's unacceptable, man.
And the locker room, god damn.
Yeah.
Treatment facilities, 12th.
The food service,
16th. Has by best mid range. Training rooms 12th. Training staff 9th. Locker room 25th, and team travel 9th, which A-. Okay. So we got good accommodations when we travel, but we ain't strong. I mean,
I'll be honest with that. That is, it's hard to see that. I'm gonna be honest. It's tough to see that. But if I'm being honest with myself, you can see this on the field.
100%. First thing I thought of, man.
I'm not surprised. It's hard to watch this. It's hard to see this, but you can see this translate on the field. Like we look weak sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's got to be some changes to that, man. You can't. You
can't be last in NFL in strength.
No. Look, my background is exercise science. I'll put my application in tomorrow.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm ready, man. Like y'all need to get stronger. Like I'll show you how to get stronger. But
you got the gym shirt already, man. Y'all get in there.
There we go.
And we in there, man. Out of your Falcon mind. But bro, I really think that's sad because that's something that you shouldn't have to have an external group tell you is fucked up in your you should see that yourself. Like, damn, how is the weight room almost last in the league? It's the Falcons. It's in Atlanta.
Look, man, the certifications. The certifications these guys have to go through to get this as well, especially like the guys that are at this level. Like this, no joke, man. Like they are put through. They're number one. They're put through the test themselves. Like all the strength coaches, they're put through all this stuff themselves. So they have to be number one. They have to be able to do it themselves as well as teach it. And like the test, all the stuff they have to take at that level, it's no joke, dude. Like I've done a bunch of them, and it's like I mean, you have to know your shit inside and out. So that's disappointing as hell, man, to see that it's just not. Not working. So I mean, you can't, and as the owner, you have to look at that or GM and be like, "Ooh, that's got to be."
You're gonna get a comfortable seat on the plane, but when you get to the game, you're gonna get bullied. I don't like it.
Yeah,
that's just what Alberto said. That was heartbreaking to Atlanta, man. This report, Arthur for sure
Let me
wants
tell you
some
how that felt, and I know this is awkward. You know how that felt? Like it was like a sex report card, and I was looking at myself like it was a girl that said, "Yo, was trash. This was trash. This was a B." Like it was 1A. Like the music that you was playing when we was doing it was an A. Like God,
they're like, it's a D. Are you sure it's not like maybe a C minus? Like,
can I get a C? This is out of all the dudes I had, you last in 2 categories. Come on, man.
Like no way, that's right. No way, not me.
I ain't gonna lie. It was hard to look at that. Damn.
Yeah, man.
What is that from, John? What is that from?
That's the Players Association, NFLPA.
Makes it worse.
Yeah, that's worse.
Yeah, I mean that's coming from them. I mean, that's not like some outside source. I mean, like, come on,
damn, man, that
that is ridiculous, man. So I'm sure ATL had some inkling of this. Probably the Jalen
Carter stuff. Yeah.
Nah, yeah. Mom said John.
That's mom said John. John,
That's on up.
Yep.
Johnny, man.
Falcons need you.
1.5 billion. No, that's what I'm saying. 1.5 billion for a new stadium. You got Home Depot money. Let's get it.
I know. Let's do it, man. Alberto said facts, and then
what the hell? Hard to watch.
Oh damn! By the way, make sure y'all check out Alberto 95 North Falcons Talk Show. Can't miss it, man. Him and the Spitty, fantastic content every week.
Man in the land, man. My man,
absolutely,
Berto.
Man. He said they put money into that new Ticketmaster studio. No shit, dude. Like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
As I saw that, and we'll get actually. That's perfect, Jordan. Thank you, buddy. That's a perfect transition right into. Arthur and Terry spoke this week. Arthur had the interview with. Am I good? Go on mute there. Am I good? Okay, there we go. Had the interview this week with Scott Bair from the media team at Atlanta Falcons, and it was about almost 20 minutes long. And so just to hit some points that he said, they talked to him about Nielsen, and he said it's basically a long, thorough process for the DC, and that they just felt that he just fit their ethos, and he was the right type of player. He was the right type of coach to fit the culture that they had here. He loved his background, his vision, and they asked him if he's going to work with the defensive line, because that's obviously what he's kind of been known for, is getting the most out of the defensive lineman. He said absolutely. He'll work with defensive line, and Lanier and Huxtable will work with him on that. But so I think we all kind of figured that, but we hear it officially now that he's going to definitely have his hands directly on that front, which is awesome, because that's, again, where we need the most help. And, that's great to hear. Asking about Jerry Gray, said, he wanted a diverse group of coaches with different backgrounds. And Jerry fits that with his experience. I mean, he's been coaching forever. And he said that, he'll oversee the back end. So, the safeties, the corners. So he'll basically handling that. We got a QB coach now, and it's the same person that's our offensive coordinator, Dave Vergone. Yeah. That's not going to be an outside hire. What did y'all think of that? Steve, did you want to get were you hoping for somebody in particular, or is this kind of like just a non-issue for you?
To me, I haven't been. I don't get too concerned with QB coaching, just as I think a lot of like QB improvement. I do think there are some QB whispers, but just from what I've seen, I think it depends on who you have at quarterback. And I think from what we've seen with Dez, coming just from college to the NFL, and he's obviously the main quarterback we'd be developing, so he's the one that really matters. I think he self-improves enough. Because again, he sought out Jordan Palmer to get training to improve. So I don't put too much in all that. It's nice you can get one of the elite names, but we don't really know these people too well, so we can't really judge their coaching until we see it on the field. And I thought Dez's decision making down the stretch was like pretty good. So I tend to think that if they're promoting from within, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, I agreed, man. Mike, what do you think, bud?
Bring him back.
Y'all listening on Spotify.
I got a jersey on my cup. I love that, man.
He got a Matt Ryan. I want Matt Ryan to be the quarterback coach. I think that again, like Steve said, you'd never know when you don't know the name. He could be a great one, and you see it translate on maybe a shitty one. You see it translate on the field. I just my dream for whoever the next quarterback was that Matt Ryan would be there to tutor him, then pass it off organically. I don't know how he will be as an actual quarterback coach, but I would love him as a consultant to the quarterback. Just if you got questions, I can help you out. I need him to be in the organization on the sideline at some point. Not to be the quarterback, but he can help a rookie quarterback or a second-year quarterback tremendously. Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Damn that Deshaun Watson for messing that up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, damn. Yeah. I always wanted to do Brett and Aaron Rodgers. I think that's how you do that. Is you get it, you like mentor, and then you hand it, and then you go with the Colts or do something then. But
Brett kind of reluctantly did it.
Yeah, he reluctantly did it. And I want to point out, he murdered with the Vikings. He almost had his best season with Minnesota. He murdered. Like Brett Favre, if he wasn't in that Saints game and he did that dumb shit at the end, which is Brett Favre.
Right.
That's Brett Favre for you.
Good and bad, right?
Yeah, but Brett Favre balled out.
Alberto said Pep Hamilton should have been brought in. That was the only guy that I had on my list. That when he became available from Houston, I thought that he would be great. But and the second thought, and David agrees there with Alberto. My second thought was kind of what you said, Stephen. I mean, like if Rid's going to be the quarterback, I mean, he's already got this rapport with Dave, and they probably already have a relationship, so it's just going to be a smooth transition. And at least, what, Dave was a quarterback, so that's a plus. I mean, Charles London was not a quarterback. Not that you have to be, but there is a difference if you played a position, you played it at a high level. That can always translate a little bit better to the younger guys. But
John and Steve are the two most logical people in the space. Do you notice how everything they say at least you can follow it logically? But you see how sometimes when I speak, you think, is he high? Has he had a pill?
Has he had a pill? Oh, shit. He said he's very fired up about the group of coaches that they have. And I was noticing while he was talking in the interview, like a lot of coaches have switched sides. So like a lot of the defensive coaches last year are the offensive now and vice versa. He just says, makes them more better well-rounded coaches. I'm fine with that. He said on the draft class, they're looking for the guys with the right mental makeup, the right habits, high character guys. It shouldn't surprise anybody if you've watched this regime the last 2 years. They do have a good feel of what they want. He said he wants to see more balance in offense this season. So obviously he talked about the first year with Matt, had the pass game going, obviously, and Kyle's doing his thing. And then but they had the run game. And then now this year, then 21, they improved the run game quite a bit, but the passing game went to shit. So now they would like to just put it all together and, have a nice balance. And he said Desmond, they asked him specifically about Desmond. So here we go. We're getting into Desmond. And he said he thought he improved a lot over the last 4 games. It's important that he didn't repeat a lot of the same mistakes that he made, and that he handled critical downs well. So those 3rd and 4th downs, 2-minute situations, he handled those very well. And he said his future is bright. And then Scott Bair flat out asked him, said, "Is he your starting quarterback?" He said,
I'm not going to say that.
Not going to say that. So a lot of folks, I was watching Pound for Pound last night. Shout out JR and Jonathan. Folks taking it very seriously and very directly that, they don't believe in him, that his clearly they don't, if they don't believe in him, why should I believe in him type of thing. I don't think that's it, y'all. I see it as the guy started for 4 games. You don't really know what you have unless you have a Mahomes, a Brady, a Burrow, a guy that's clearly upper echelon that you can go say, oh yeah, that's the starter right there. Like, there's not nobody going to come and beat them out. Then you say that. When you have a guy who started 4 games, okay, and he did well, but not great, you can't say, yeah, that's my quarterback as much as you might like to, because it puts you in a spot. So you can't go out there if you go explore the Lamar option. Well, then you get hammered for, you said he's your starting quarterback. So there's no way they're going to put themselves in a corner like that. And also, if you bring in somebody to compete, that ruins that as well. So I don't see it as anything at all. I think they're very high on Ritter still. I just don't believe that they're going to say, yeah, he's our guy without, having some competition come in, or like I said, if they go toward Lamar or somebody else. Steven, what say you, buddy?
I agree. I think it's all just kind of coach speech. We see it every year with all the coach speech. It's just how can I answer this question without giving any valuable information? That's the key to coaching, at least press conferences. As far as what I think they actually think of Ritter, I think when you look at what they're saying in interviews, talking about these critical downs, these 4th downs, that's stuff you can verify on the field, right? Both the London fumbles came on a 4th down. I hate to bring up Drake London, that he played really well, but those are 4th down situations, sometimes in a drive to win situation for the Saints game. He made those plays. So you can see it on the field, and you can also kind of see it. Well, maybe we'll get into this a little bit later, but schematically, they trusted Ritter to pass more than they did Mariota. Just the last 4 games, I'm sure y'all both saw it too. Yeah. Offense changed. It wasn't the same offense. We were doing different stuff. We even went wide a couple times, 4 wide receivers, that side of stuff. We did not do that with Mariota since week 1. So I think you can see it on the field, and I think the press conferences, if you read between the lines, they're saying a lot of positive stuff without fully committing, which to me implies that they at least want to give him a shot, unless someone blows him away in the draft process, like Bryce Young or somebody. But it's hard to read into all that. I don't think they're moving off of him. I think they're higher on him than maybe people think.
Yeah, Mike.
Well, one, Steve just said schematically. I don't think that's ever been used out of your Falcon mind. So I love you, buddy. Let's start there. Two is, I think like y'all hit it on the head. You have to say that. If not only for, if you notice, sometimes if it ain't your wife yet, it's your girlfriend. Even if you want to marry her, you don't tell her she got the job already. You need to earn that shit. I need you to think that it's a job you need to compete for. Earn that shit. And that's kind of what you want from a young quarterback. Is you?
I don't think I said that to my wife.
Young, I'm gonna tell you something. Man, I don't care if in my heart I know you. I am giving you a certain job. It's not. I'm not going to tell you that in February. Right. I'm not telling you it's for.
There it is. I was curious what would happen while I was on here.
Yeah, man, it's perfect. It's kind of weird ass face, everything. So
it has everything. Yeah.
Y'all
pointing down, a little blurry.
Mike just froze up again. He's looking like he's in a rap video right now. Actually, like he's
he does actually.
Right, yeah, definitely. So Mike will get unfrozen in a second and come back. But let me see me remove him and add him back.
Let's see.
All right. Blank screen right now. All right, so we'll move on. Right. He'll be back in a second. This happens almost
almost every episode.
Almost every episode. Yeah, it's something with his connection. Not sure what's going on. Anywho, getting back at it, man. He said all options are on the table. Yeah, that was verbatim. That's what he said as far as the quarterback goes. There he is.
There he is.
I don't know why that only happened to me. It's so unfair. I hate it.
Dude, that shit was hilarious. You were like this. Like you were like you were rapping like you had like a serious
rapping bars.
No, I don't know what it is. But yeah, I just think that you don't say that now. And again, he wasn't, I love Desmond Ridder. He wasn't dynamic. He wasn't somebody who said, oh, it's definitely, I never seen nothing like it. So you just be honest. Like, no, you don't got it yet, but he will compete for it. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No. And I think that's what he expects.
Yeah. Like, and I'm gonna be honest. I think that's what just gonna bring out his best. I believe he will compete no matter who you bring in. I think Desmond got the mentality to it's showtime. Let's go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed, man. Miss Davis, what's happening?
Yeah, she said, geez, if I brought this report card home, I would have got punished. Yes. Yeah.
Damn right.
I would have got more than punished. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Pep Hamilton fits that. There's Berto. Pep Hamilton fits that mold of a diverse coach. He's been an offensive coordinator and quarterback coach. Would have been better than Regon. Yeah, that's man.
Yeah, I don't disagree, buddy. I don't disagree. Big John, what's happening, brother?
Big John with the 4X. I hope you got it. Or 3X, but 4X. He says, I'm looking forward to this year's free agency and the draft.
Cannot wait, dude.
It's
just moving by so slow. This season flew by now. This month and a half is taking forever, man.
You're in the dead period. Nothing happened.
Please be said. Please explain what y'all just said to the Desbians because I don't think they can cover it. That is the funniest shit. The Desbians. I never heard that.
I've heard a lot of Ritter ones. I know I'm like the Ritter guy almost, and I hadn't heard Desbian. That's a good one.
The Desbian. So hold on, John. I just want to jump in real quick and play a game called Ask a Steve. I just want to jump in.
All right.
Steve, I got just a few random things just from Ask Steve. Steve, what's the best way to reheat a slice of pizza, buddy?
To reheat a slice of pizza?
You had pizza the night before. Now it's the next day. You're trying to reheat this pizza. There's a million different rumors flying about how the best tasting way. What's the best tasting way to reheat a slice of pizza? It's Ask a Steve Day.
See, I got a toaster oven, so I don't know. It says I'm trying to slice a single slice. I'm not going to do all the process for the whole big oven, right? Try to be efficient, right? So I have my smaller toaster oven. I put that in there. You just wrap it up to 200 or something. Let it heat up. Once it gets about warm, you don't want to let it get too hot because then it's going to get kind of weird. It's just tastes different. But you get it up to nice warm temp. That's how I usually do it. But I'll be real. I'm kind of weird. Sometimes I like cold pizza. Is that just me?
Cold pizza, Steve. I love it.
Sometimes I rock with it.
Come on, man. Ask us, Steve. Steve, what type of running back is our coach? Is he like aiming for? Is he like aiming for a doppelganger of Tyler to where we could pound it? He get a break, then you pound it, or is he getting somebody totally with a different skill set, speed back out there who can catch all of that?
So that's a fun question because I don't really know. We don't really know till he makes the selection, right? Personally, based off how Huntley played and how Patterson played, I tend to think that he values kind of the same archetype as Algier. And when you get into this draft class, there's a lot of guys that are going to be going in that 3rd and 4th round range that are a lot like Algier. I know Zach Evans from Mississippi, from Ole Miss. Sorry, Ole Miss. He reminds me a lot of Algier. He's really fun. He's probably a little bit faster. So we won't really know till we know. But if I had to guess, I think they're going to try to keep the same kind of type. Maybe someone a little bit faster, but it's going to be the same lower their shoulder, hit somebody opposed to juke them out.
I love it. Man, ask us, Steve. Steve, what is the Outer Wilds game? I saw you raving about it.
Oh,
what is the Outer Wilds game?
That is the single most unique game I've ever played in my life. If you want to play it, it's like a split space exploration game, but it's almost like a mystery. I've never found a single game like it. It's an experience. Don't read anything about it. Just play it. You're in this spaceship. You have to figure out why this ancient civilization was wiped out, but that game's incredible. It's probably one of my top 5 games I've ever freaking played, and it's so unique. I beat it, and I had an itch for a game similar to it for 6 months. I couldn't find anything. So Outer Wilds, if you like video games, you like exploration games, play that shit.
The Outer Wilds, play that shit. You heard it from Steve. Play that shit on the shirt. The last one on Ask Us Steve. Steve, why are dish soakers the same as people who don't return their card?
Because they're not considering other people when they do it, man. Because I'm going to be real with you.
Okay.
There are some cases where soaking a dish is acceptable.
Okay.
Because sometimes you do need to soak something. But, man, people who soak dishes, they sit there and they soak like a bowl of cereal. I'm like, you don't need to soak that. Just fucking clean it. It's right there. I don't have a dishwasher. I hand clean everything. So that makes it even worse for me because people have a dishwasher, they soak dishes. I'm like, you just got to rinse it out and put it in. I don't like them. I don't like it. I think that's a lazy way to live your life.
I love it, buddy. Ask us, Steve. You got to love him, buddy.
That was great.
There you go.
That was great.
Johnny Yates, continue, buddy.
All right, but no, you're good, buddy. That was a great little break there from the Arthur press conference or the interview. The last 2 things I was just going to say about it, he did make a point to say that the pass rush was a point of emphasis going into this and going into 23 and getting more explosive on offense. Both things you wanted to hear as a Falcons, without a doubt. And they asked him about the rookies. He said he thought Drake, Tyler, and Troy played their best football down the stretch. So there you go on those guys. Steve, I got a perfect question for you, buddy, since you have been breaking down QBs.
Yep. All right. What makes Bryce Young an NFL-ready quarterback? There's a long list. The biggest thing I'll say about Bryce is the only real flaw to his game is just how tall he is, but it doesn't actually affect how he plays. I think probably his best trait is how he plays with anticipation and his improbability. When I say improbability, that's pressure gets to you. Can you get outside the pocket? Can you reevaluate situational awareness? Can you find that, that backside crosser with a guy in your face? And I think Bryce Young is so skilled at that. I don't think I've seen anybody as good at it as he is since Patrick Mahomes. And that's just me off the cuff. I haven't broken every single class down since Patrick Mahomes, but just when I'm watching him, how he makes these kind of creative plays happen, it just reminds me a lot of Mahomes. And I think some people shy away from that comparison, but Patrick Mahomes, the college quarterback, is not the Patrick Mahomes in the NFL. So I'm comparing the college film, not the NFL film. Patrick Mahomes in the NFL is the best quarterback we've ever seen. Yeah. So he's not a good comparison to anybody. But the college film, I think you can make comparisons to that. So I don't think Bryce Young has a weakness. I think his only weakness is if you question his height and if you question how healthy he'll be. And I think the height gets answered because he's playing behind the Alabama O-line and he's playing SEC defenses, and he hasn't seemed to struggle with it. It reminds me of the Kenny Pickett stuff where people were like, are his hands too small? Well, guess what? It did not matter at all. We wasted 4 months discussing Kenny Pickett's fucking hand size and just wasted our time. So until I see him in the NFL become an issue, I don't think it's going to be issues. I think he's just a really well-rounded prospect.
I love it, dude. And to piggyback on that, being an Alabama fan, obviously I've watched him a lot, and he is so calm in the pocket, it bothers me. I would be watching the games, and I would be so damn nervous. He's just back there chilling, rushers coming at him. But it's just crazy how well he can just kind of just break down to everything in front of him and just not panic. It's wild to see. So do you think he's worth a team trading up for or let's put it this way, best like this, if you're drafting the one and you want a quarterback, that's the guy you're taking?
Yeah, that's who I would take. And I want to be clear, I think the top 3 quarterbacks for me, it's Bryce Young right now. I personally like Anthony Richardson second, but I think C.J. Stroud is just as good there. And then the third one, is whoever I didn't put second, right? Yep. I think all three of those guys are legit top 10 quarterbacks. So I think it's a pretty good class.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Miss B said, y'all explained ASF perfectly. I couldn't have done it better myself. Well, thank you very much. Definitely try. Jordan said, reheating the oven can't go wrong on the pizza question there.
Yeah.
And
yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter. No, we wasted all this time discussing Joe Burrow's hand size, and does it matter? No. It's terrible.
Our brother said Devontae and Coleman type tandem. Yeah. I think you want a guy that I think you want a guy that if something happens to Tyler, that you just slide him in and he can just be that type of back.
Mm-hmm.
I like Roschon Johnson a lot out of Texas. That guy's going to start on most every other team. If he wasn't behind Bijan, he's going to be a starter.
Mm-hmm.
But he can beat that type of guy too. Alberto said Tomb Raider, Metal Gear Solid classics also.
They are.
Okay.
You can't go wrong.
Metal Gear Solid's a classic.
Mine's Frozen. It happened.
It really is. People are going to just like tune in just to see when your face freezes.
Man. See. Steve, you are not a thespian. You like Ritter, you think highly of him, which is cool. Thespians are on another level. They think he's winning the Super Bowl.
Hey, he is. He promised it. He's not. You think Desmond Ritter's a liar? I don't think so. I think he's an honest man.
Millie Mills.
What's happening, Millie? Appreciate you coming in, buddy.
So I got one for Matt Rule waking up to measure. That's waking up to. So I got one for y'all. It's gonna be a good one. AJ Terrell, Kyle Pitts, Grady Jarrett. You have to start one of these people. You're gonna bench one of these people, and you're gonna cut one of these people. This is AJ Terrell. This is Kyle Pitts, and this is Grady Jarrett. John, Steve, what have you?
You want me to kick it off? I'll kick it off.
Again, you're gonna start. You're gonna bench, and you're gonna cut.
All right. So I'm going to do this from the fandom side. I love Grady Jarrett so much because he's the only good defensive lineman we've had since he was drafted. Okay. So he's starting. 100% he's starting. I'm going to bench AJ Terrell because I just think I've had more time with him to cheer for him, so I'm closer to him as a fan. And then Kyle Pitts. Sorry, Kyle. You're the newest guy. I hate to bully you, but you're getting out of here. You're getting cut.
Johnny Yates, what you got?
Let
me see. You're gonna start. You're gonna bench, and you're gonna cut.
Yeah, no, I'm starting Grady. I can't not. I'm agree totally with Stephen with him. I can't not do that. I'll switch it up though. So I'll bench Kyle and cut AJ just because I'm a big fan.
When AJ listens to this pod, he's going to be so upset.
Berto, man, please tell me Berto in the chat. Berto, if you're still in the chat. You got to start, bench, or cut. You have AJ Terrell, Kyle Pitts, and Grady. The whole chat, I want y'all to just tell me. Grady, Kyle, and AJ, you're going to cut one, you're going to start one, you're going to bench one. I'm going to be honest. I'm starting Kyle Pitts. I'm benching Grady Jarrett, and I'm cutting AJ Terrell.
Okay. So I thought you were going to cut Grady for a second. I was like, we got to stop. We got to stop
this. I never cut Grady. I
know. I kicked you off the show immediately.
Kyle Pitts is unicorn. I gotta start Kyle. Unicorn.
Oh man. Sorry, I'm going back up here. Let's see.
What we got?
Alberto said, would it be fair to say his success is predicated on solid O-line? There's not a lot of stout O-lines in the league.
I think that's about Young.
Berto, you saw what they did to Matt.
Yeah. I mean, it's certainly relevant. I think every young quarterback wants a good line. If you actually want my honest answer on who I think of the top three guys most needs a good O-line, I think Stroud probably needs it the best. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming here that Bryce Young is going to get injured if he gets sacked, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to actually being able to evolve as a passer and a quarterback, I think Stroud would be the most beneficial to play behind a really good O-line. Where I think Anthony Richardson or Bryce Young could make do behind a worse O-line.
Yeah, and I mean Bryce is going to have to. I mean, when he started at his career at Alabama, he was 160 pounds. I mean, literally. And so I think he's up to 190. I'm not sure what he's going to weigh or what he has weighed at the combine, but yeah, that's not just his height, but is he fragile? Is he going to break when he gets smoked by a D tackle, that type of thing, So, I mean, that's what kind of, you worries you about him, but that's like you said, Steve, that's it, man. That's all.
That's it.
Norman said Tajay Spear out of Tulane. Yeah, man. I like him. I like him a lot. What's up, Liam? How you doing, buddy?
Liam, buddy.
Here we go.
That's my son. He said start bench bench Grady, cut Terrell.
There we go.
He agrees with Mike, and then
man, everybody's cutting AJ. I guess I'm the only one who's not doing that.
Alberto's on me. Oh, look, Anthony doing the same thing.
Man. Kyle and cut AJ. Woo! We getting good.
There we go. See, she knows what she's talking about.
Oh man, Miss B cutting Kyle.
Okay, mention Terrell, starting Grady. Okay,
that's a good answer. I wonder who else came up with that one.
I don't know.
He's not. He's staying in school.
Yep, he's got one more year, which is good for him because this is not a class for him to come out with.
He would be like 7 or 8, but I think if he improves, we'll have a good shot next year.
Yeah, me too. All right, man. So Terry also had an interview at the Combine, and he said some things too that got some folks stirred up, and he basically, I'll try to do as good a job as I did on the Arthur Smith synopsis there. Synopsis and schematics used in the same podcast.
In the same show.
Here we go.
We've made it, man.
I'm telling you.
Being technical.
He said basically is looking at the draft, have to be cautious, not trying to win the press conference, want to bring in the right type of players in our building. Same thing that Arthur said basically about focus on the right type of players. Basically, he said every exposure matters. The interview process to them is super important because it's about who they are as individuals, not just what they do on the field. He wants to write intangibles in those players. He loves to see the guys go out there and compete. When they was asked about, is he worried about the guys that are not there? And he said, no, it's not a huge deal, but he does like to see him just go out there and do everything and compete against the other guys. Ask him about Tyler. He said he's a good player, but you always needed multiples at that position and it helps to preserve their career. And Tyler's a very smart, versatile player. On that one, man, a lot of folks were like, oh man, well, I guess we're drafting Bijan and we're just moving on from Tyler. I'm like, man, y'all gotta chill, man. Like, it just literally said we're adding, like, this should not be a news flash. Like, we want to add to that room. I mean,
our running back room is Algier, Huntley, and Patterson, and then Avery Williams, but
and you don't want Avery to be, no offense to Avery, but you don't want him to be like 2 or 3 there. Like,
he's very good on special teams. He's a gadget player on offense.
Exactly. Yeah, and you got Caleb coming off an Achilles. You don't know how that's going to work.
So did Mike freeze? No, he's back. I thought you froze Mike. Knock on wood, I got you.
CP getting older. So, yeah, you're going to add, whether it's a free agent or a younger guy, you're definitely going to add to that room. They asked him about players from UGA. He addressed it. He acknowledged it and said, yeah, there's some great players from UGA, but he also said there's some just good players from Georgia here. He said on their free agent board, they actually put a peach next to the player's name if they're from the state of Georgia.
Love it.
Georgia born.
Love it.
So I don't know.
Hometown.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think that's cool. Like, I don't know. Like, it doesn't really affect me. Like, as far as like I just want you to be a good player. But yeah, it's cool if they're from Georgia. I'm down with it. They asked him about the corner position, specifically the nickel corner position. He said that's basically a starter now in the NFL. And we talked about it before, Mike, on the show. How these teams now are not in their base packages, but maybe 20% of the time now.
Yep.
So like that nickel corner, such a critical position in the NFL. So that people thinking Brian Branch possibly because he's kind of that hybrid safety, great nickel corner type position. And who knows? That's how people thinking about that. He said definitely wanted, as far as the pass rush goes, definitely want to add everywhere, but we definitely want to do that. You have to build overall. You want versatile players, but making sure you're improving the whole defense. And we hear that versatile statement being said all the time by Nielsen has said it, Arthur has said it. So like this kind of tells you the kind of players they're looking at, which
they want you to play multiple positions well,
or just be able to that those guys that are not just it's not Mike, it's not like when we were growing up in the early 90s, late 80s where linebackers were all 260 pounds.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's all they played was linebacker. And that made me think about a guy like Drew Sanders because this guy played edge, basically Alabama, but transferred to Arkansas, started playing linebacker there. I did actually he's one of the guys I covered on one of the draft videos. And he's a guy that's like, talk about versatility, man. Like he had 11 and a half sacks this year. He can rush off the edge. He can play linebacker pretty well. He can cover. Like, I wouldn't be surprised you see. I mean, I don't know when he's probably going to be gone if we don't take him, which we're not taking him at 8. But if he, I doubt he'll be there when we come around the draft again. But who knows? He said that the scouting staff basically sets their boards based on the info that they have now and leading into the combine. It's all solely based off the film and what they got from the school. And he said basically he was asked about Nielsen. He said with Nielsen, it's all about development and competitiveness. That's what he's all about. And then they asked him about the draft in general, about positional drafting. And Mike, he said kind of what I've said before. He said, you can find good players everywhere. He said, we're going to turn over every stone. And he said, this was a very, I think, key thing as well. He said, we really value the Senior Bowl. 20 players on our current roster are from the Senior Bowl, 11 from the last 2 seasons. So if you just go off that alone and you can go back to the Senior Bowl and look, see who was there, see who competed, see who did well. You might see a guy or two drafted from the Senior Bowl if we continue that type of track, which I don't hate. Ivan Pace Jr. was at the Senior Bowl. They asked him today about his kind of mentality, about how he said, I just run through dudes' faces. Like, where do I draft him? Like, please? That's a perfect answer, man. Like, I run through dudes' faces. I love it. So yeah, man, like that's, again, like I don't take a lot of what they said in both conferences for heart, to heart. I mean, like I said, they're going to be, especially Terry is going to be as ambiguous as possible, because I mean, it doesn't do him any good. I mean, like if you don't want to give any of your counterparts any type of inkling on what you might do, whether you might trade up, you might trade down. He mentioned it. He said, whether we trade up, trade down, or stay put. I mean, you want to throw that out there, just put it in their minds. You never know what that's going to happen. So you don't want to give away. You don't want to commit to a quarterback, and all of a sudden that takes you out of the quarterback discussion, like all that stuff. You just want to, like Stephen said earlier, man, just coach speak, man. That's all it is. You're not going to get a lot from it. I mean,
yeah. I have a question for you all that John just made me think of. For the both of you, John just brought up a great point. There are in the olden days of football, you saw cornerbacks that couldn't do what cornerbacks do now. You saw some safeties that are built different than safeties now. You saw linebackers built different than linebackers now. You see defensive ends that was just built different than how they are now. Is there any one player that stands out in your mind that you used to watch as a child that you was like, he was before his time, because he was more of what's happening now back then? Like you saw it then, like he didn't fit back then. When you look at it in like retrospect, you say he could have played now because he was the new breed back then. Is there any player that stands out to you for that?
He's not necessarily when we were kids, but man, I think Sean Taylor for me.
Sean, that's a good one, John. God damn, that's a good one. Yeah.
Because man, go ahead, Steve.
I was gonna say, I mean, most of my football memories start like the 2008 season, so I'm not the best.
No, that's fine.
I've been in the modern game, but
even that is what, like when you can see that now, because that was still a long time ago. Like, what is there a player you saw? He was way before his time for how the position has evolved. He was doing that then.
I'm trying to think. I feel like this one is kind of out there. Maybe I'll be crazy here, but I actually think Tony Romo was one of those guys that I think if he was coming out now with how he scrambles around in the pocket and kind of makes some weird stuff happen, I think he would be much more highly regarded than he is historically as a quarterback. Because I think how he played is kind of like the precursor almost to Mahomes and a couple of like Rodgers type guys. So I think Tony Romo, if he was coming out now, we would all be freaking out when he does weird stuff in the pocket and slings it 30 yards downfield. At the time, we were all like, "Oh, he's so weird," and he just I'm a big Tony Romo fan, to be honest. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch, so I rate him pretty highly, and I think he gets a bad rap. So I think if he came out now, he'd be pretty highly rated.
I love it. Hey, dog, I want to say this about Tony Romo. Tony Romo I've never seen this in the NFL. There's no player, there's no quarterback. Tony Romo had a move where he would be in the pocket and he's looking this way, so he can't even see. Tony Romo had this move where he was about to get hit, and somehow, some way, the man would spin around. He knew that hit was coming from behind. I never seen no other quarterback do that. He would do it with perfection every time, like eyes in the back. He wouldn't get hit from behind. He could feel it coming and spin out of it and throw the ball. Yeah. Love him.
Another QB. I mean, if you want to go, Randall Cunningham, like for us.
There you go. Yeah.
You can pretty much any mobile quarterback prior to
Steve Young, even. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're both that's two good ones. Yeah, but yeah, for like I said, go back to Sean Taylor. Dude, Sean Taylor could have done whatever. Yeah. He could have put on a little bit of weight and played linebacker. He could have. Yeah, he was. You're right. Yeah. Brian Peoples, what's up, buddy?
Brian, what up?
Yo.
So Liam says, honest question: who we picking first in the draft, depending on who's there?
Depending on, I'm going way out of your Falcon mind. I think that need to be our number one signing. Let me and John call the games from the booth. If we curse, we curse. You just find us a little bit of money every time we curse. You let us have a free.
Get curse jar. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're gonna need a whole another support staff.
We're gonna need a whole fund for fines and curses. Millie Mill said, "I like that cornerback out of South Carolina." Who is he talking about, fellas?
Cam Smith, buddy.
Oh, Cam Smith, love him. That's my guy. Yeah, okay.
Liam said, "I'm hoping we go after a corner or offensive weapon."
In the first,
buddy. As
you can tell, that is John's son. You see how he's saying things like 12. You know that's John's son.
Yeah, man. I'm all about a corner. One of those top corners, I'm fine with at 8. Again, this is all predicated on free agency because this could all change depending on what directions we go.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm fine with it. I really want it to be a defensive pick, though. I mean, that's just me. There's too much talent on that side of the ball that we need to just grab one, And Stephen, I'll ask you too, but so two mock drafts. Daniel Jeremiah mocked Lucas Van Ness to us at 8, and then
saw that one.
I think Mel Kiper's latest one today, whatever, mock 84.2, whatever it is, mocked us Will McDonald, Mike's other guy from Iowa State. So your thoughts on either one of those guys, or have you looked into them at all?
So I have not. To be honest, I've mostly been indexing towards the offensive side of the draft right now. So my defensive prospects are limited. It's pretty much limited to like some of the top defensive linemen that are kind of projected to us. So that's Tyree Wilson and like Miles Murphy, and then Brian Brees and that sort of stuff. So I haven't gone too much into that. I'm mostly focused on the offensive side of the ball.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean Mike.
John, I got a question for you, and Steve too. John, I know you want a defensive pick. You said that 1,000 times. I think most players want a defensive pick. John and Steve, is there any offensive player, if they did do it at 8, that you wouldn't be mad at, even though you wanted to do? Is there one offensive player you say, I cannot be mad at that? I get it.
I got one right off the cuff. If Bryce Young somehow falls to 8, and I'm very high on Desmond Ridder, if Bryce Young's available at 8, I think you have to pick him. I don't even think that's a question. I think you have to pick Bryce Young at 8 if he falls that far. That's just how I view him. He's that tier above the other guys. So if he's there at 8, put him there with Ridder. Let him battle it out. Whoever wins.
Love it, Johnny Yates. What you got?
I don't know. If there's any. I mean, yeah, I agree with you there on Bryce. I don't think he'll be there at 8, but yeah, I totally agree with you. The obviously the other answer is Bijan Robinson. I do not want a running back in the first round at 8. The dude is a ridiculous talent. Like if you watch his film, he's ridiculous. I mean, he could be a generational type guy. I don't know, but I definitely don't want to see a receiver at 8. Hell no to a tight end at 8.
No way.
Offensive lineman. Now you could sell me on a tackle. I could take a tackle. Not a skill position. I don't think so. Offensive tackle though, guard maybe. Somebody that could be like a
what's the Northwestern guy, Peter
Skoronsky?
Yeah, Skoronsky. I think he'd be good to move into left guard. But then you're picking a guard at 8, and what's the value there?
Exactly. Yeah, so I just think there's more value on the defensive side of the ball, whether it's a pass rusher or whether it's a corner. I did a video on Lucas Van Ness. I like him a lot. I never saw him being as high as 8 whenever I was watching the film on him. And at the time, I didn't know like that. You read and stuff like that. He wasn't a starter, which I didn't know. That was like, oh, that kind of sucks. But then you read more, kind of what Daniel Jeremiah said. You read more about how Iowa does things, and they start their veteran guys. So they'll start their junior, senior guys over some of the guys that could be more talented than they are. So, Lucas. Dude, Lucas, if you've seen this kid, he's 6'4", 275 with like abs upon abs. Like he looks like a damn superhero. Like he looks the part, But I will say Vic Beasley came in and outbenched everybody, and we know how that turned out. So just
always catching strays, old Beasley, man. He can't always catch strays.
Every show we get bullets. He's riddled with bullets at this point. They all from John's gun.
I can't help it. But anyway,
no ballistics text. They all from John's gun.
And just anyway, so yeah, so I still I think his upside is high. Like I said, I'm still not sold on him as far as the run game. He's got to get better at really setting the edge and just in general, like recognizing the play. To me, like he was a little slow on recognizing runs and stuff like that and getting off the blocks quick enough. I do think he can rush the passer. He's he damn near dominated Paris Johnson, which will be one of the top tackles taken in the draft. And I mean, he did that several times, not just to him, but I mean, other tackles, like he's a force. So I won't hate that pick. I just did not. I personally never saw him being that high, but we talked about it on Smitty Sports Machine with Alberto. He's going to test out of this world this week at the combine, and that happens every year. These guys come in, they test like this, and they just shoot straight up the board. Based on that alone.
Yeah.
So
I did want to mention, sorry, John, when it comes to Terry's interview, I know when he was on the combine, he mentioned, and this makes sense, right, because we selected Troy Anderson. He did say he values a lot of like the combine workouts, like historical analytics for, like the shuttle times and stuff for certain edges is always a good indicator. So if there are any workout warriors, that might be something to keep an eye on. But I just remember from the combine interview that he mentioned valuing some of the combine workouts pretty highly.
Oh yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, because it's like the shuttle, especially for like a defensive lineman, edge rusher, something like that. So yeah, I mean that's, and then I mean Mike, you covered Will McDonald. I know you were super high on him, and we didn't think another guy we didn't think that would really go that high. But I mean he shot up the board too apparently. So we'll see what happens, man. I love Miss B's comment here.
I don't know nothing about the draft prospects, popular names. I leave that up to y'all, man. When we draft, y'all just tell me if that's a good choice or not. I'm gonna be honest, Mr. B. Half the time I be in your boat, just asking John, is he good? Like, did we get somebody? I ain't know nothing about Tyler Algier, nothing. John told me.
I say she's got the smarter idea because she doesn't have to like sit here and grind tape because you'll like some guy and then we don't select them, and it's like, well, I wasted all that time basically.
Telling you, I did that. So I know that was me and Tyler last year, man. I was definitely that. Uncle Steve, what's up?
Uncle Steve,
man, make sure y'all check out Uncle Steve's Lounge, man. That
gotta do it.
Did you see the little short he did when Marcus was cut?
No, I didn't see it.
It's a minute and 16 seconds of joy.
You gotta
go see it. It's hilarious. Anyway, make sure y'all follow Steve, man. Fantastic dude, great channel.
Love that dude.
He said 300 subs and rising. Yes, sir, man. He said y'all like the video, keep supporting. Fellas, in the same interview, Terry avoided talking about McGarry's situation. Think we are moving on or Terry being coy? Steve.
Ooh.
So I tend to think that we will move on from Caleb McGarry just because, like you mentioned, we haven't really heard any conversation about that. And usually when they want to franchise tag someone or sign a long-term deal, you just hear a little bit more buzz about it. And then when you get into his actual film, he was solid this year. He definitely took a step forward from previous years, predominantly as like a run in the run game. But he still had instances where as a pass protector, he was not that great. And then you get into the fact that fifth year was a contract year, right? Essentially, because he's playing for the franchise tagger, getting a new deal. And he's next to Lindstrom, so you have to take everything he does with even more of a grain of salt because Lindstrom is the best guard in football. Great point. If you're next to that guy, then you're going to look better. So I think we'll probably let him go because the money he's going to command will probably be higher than we want to pay. And you can find a similar level replacement either in the draft or in the free agency.
I like it. Mike, anything else, buddy?
I just want to take that, like audio and just blast it in like the Arthur Blank office on repeat until we let him go. I agree with Steve completely.
I've been back and forth.
You can find like similar level talent. It's just, man, I would kick my own ass if we done that and then like the running game suffered because of it. Because
you mean the passing? No, he was a fine run blocker.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. If we cut him and then like the running game, because he was such a good run block. But I believe that you can get for the price he going one with that you could spend a lot less and get somebody that's kind of good like that.
Yeah. I think it's mostly because he's next to Lindstrom is why I'm not really concerned about a replacement. Like they'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, you look at some of they're younger, more athletic, possibly. And in our offense, you got to be able to get to the second level. You got to be able to get to the linebackers and take them out. So, and there's a lot of good tackles in this draft that'll be there. I agree, man. I think they're can. And like I said, I went back and forth on it. The continuity thing, I was like, yeah, you want to keep him around for continuity, but how much is Chris making him look so much better? Because, like you said, not only he's the highest rated player in the NFL.
He's so good.
Ridiculous.
I mean, talk about getting paid. He's gonna get paid.
Yeah,
he's gonna get as much. He's gonna write his own check.
Yeah,
100%. That's a great one, Miss Pam. Derek Thomas.
Oh man, I know what you're talking about.
What an
I
animal.
already know the question you answered.
What an animal.
Yes.
Vic was before his time. He was, man. He was. If he was in today's game and actually put forth the effort, oh my God.
Yeah.
Travis Preston said Tony
Gonzalez. That's a good one.
Tony G. Yeah.
Brian Cordell, and Patrick Willis. Patrick Willis is one of my favorite linebackers I've ever seen. Yeah. Dude was awesome. I must be saying hello to Liam. That's awesome.
There we go.
Millie Mills said Van Ness reminds me so much of TJ Watt. I don't know if it's the colors or what, but that's who he reminds me of. Dude, this is kind of what I thought about Karlaftis last year. Like I was super high on him. I thought that he was a great.
I liked Karlaftis a lot, man. I was okay with him when we were selecting. Where we selected London, I was like, just grab Karlaftis. Like you can't go wrong.
And I mean, people kept like poo-pooing on him because they were saying like, I didn't have the bend. I didn't see it. I was watching the film. I couldn't see it. I was like, I don't know what y'all are looking at. All I see.
You're making me feel less insane, John, because that's what I said. I was like, everybody was saying, so you kind of gaslight yourself into believing it. You're like, well, I guess if everybody's saying it, like I have to be wrong. Now you just justified me in hindsight. There we go, John.
You're not crazy. No, man. It was I just didn't see it. I saw a dude that played his ass off every down, and like all he wanted to do was take out the quarterback. So like I was like, yeah, I want that dude on my team. And he had a hell of a good rookie year with KC. So there you go.
Yeah.
And said we could trade back to a team that needs a QB if we get a good top pick and get more picks in the second. Yeah, I'm not opposed to trading back. I don't want to trade back. Oh hell yeah! I don't want to trade too far back, but if we trade back, early mid, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I mean, so let's see, man. Joel said, "What's up, out of your family?"
There we go.
Finally made it to alive. I love it, Joel. It's been a while, buddy.
Man.
He said, "Let's get all this free agency and rookies and get the Super Bowl. This year, I'm ready."
That's all I'm trying to do. Get to that Super Bowl, man.
Millie Mills says Carl Brooks, another guy I think complete our D line. Yeah, man. Steven, you got any thoughts on him?
Have not watched too much on Carl Brooks at the moment, unfortunately.
Carl Brooks, I got a man named Carl Brooks, psychopath. Shout out to him.
Alberto said, John, you see our boy Ivan Pace comments. I'll run through dudes. Hell yeah, this is earlier. Faces.
So y'all have to see if y'all are impressed by that. Then y'all should see where he actually got that from. He got that from Marshawn Lynch, who was in a real serious interview, and I can't repeat what he said, but he said it a few times, and it was the dopest clip. Marshawn Lynch is an animal, but that's what he said, that when he found out instead of juking, he could just run through a motherfucker face. And he felt like if I just run through a motherfucker face,
are you bleeping yourself?
He ain't gonna want me to run through his motherfucking face. That minute he gonna start ducking out. So that's what he started doing. But that's where he got that from. Beast mode. Yeah,
man. Millie Mills says Pace Jr.'s an animal, bro. He's just short and that's it. Dude, he's 6 foot. But I mean, I'll watching film on him. Dude, he at the Senior Bowl, he literally threw a top guard, like just threw him like 6 yards backwards. Like he plays with so much force and so much. The cool thing about now, I guess the silver lining to him being 6 foot is he plays underneath the pad level. So like he uses the leverage so well, man. When he knows how to use it, he knows how to position his body, position his hands in the correct way, and he gets to just whoever gets him is going to have a hell of a player. Whether just like he's one of those guys you just stick on the field and say, hey, go get the quarterback. Just you go get that guy, and that's what he's going to do. Liam said, Mike, I'm going to have to ask you to watch your language.
I'm trying, buddy.
I love it. And so y'all know Liam's totally joking. He hears that all the time. Yeah, there we go. His Siren's Torrance. Yep. I like it, Alberto. Norman said Mambo sauce on everything.
Hey, yeah, Norman, there you go. On everything. You know about that.
I love it, man. All right, man. So moving on. Stephen, we'll hit it real quick again because you've seen it. You've already talked about it a little bit. You've watched a ton of QB tape, and we already know how you feel about Bryce Young. So what do you not like about Anthony Richardson?
So the biggest thing with Anthony Richardson, I don't like to use the term project on him because I think he only really has one major issue, and that's just his accuracy. And that's one of those traits that's hard to necessarily project improvement on until you see it. But I think where people get it wrong, because you look at guys like Malik Willis in last year's class, who I didn't like very much. I thought he had issues seeing the field. Anthony Richardson sees the field really well. He's a really good processor. His pocket feels really good. So he's really athletic, but I almost feel like he's better just in the pocket going through progressions, which is crazy because he's such a good athlete. But he's one of those guys that if he can improve his accuracy, he'll never be an elite accuracy guy, but if he can get it up to kind of manageable levels where he stops missing just open crossers, I think he'll be really good in the NFL. And I think the reason I feel more comfortable with him than other guys is because he doesn't have all the issues that usually come with the guys who have to improve their accuracy. Because usually if you have to improve your accuracy, you're not a good processor. Your pocket feels probably kind of like whatever. It's not really that good. But if you have all the other traits already there, and the only thing you need to improve is your accuracy, I think he has a much higher likelihood of achieving that versus usual. So I like him a lot. That's why he's my QB2. And if he hits, he's going to hit really hard. And he will be an amazing quarterback.
Yeah, so kind of like Josh Allen-ish when he first came in, like a lot of accuracy issues, and then
I was going to say I think Josh Allen was a little more reckless with the ball in terms of how he would act in the end zone, and you see that sometimes it popped up. Noticeably this year when he started turning the ball over a little bit more down the stretch, he just trusted his arm a little bit more, and I think Richardson, he's a bit smarter than Allen was coming into the league, but I think that's a pretty decent comparison. He just has to improve the accuracy, and everything else will be there.
Gotcha. Does any like at all to Will Levis, or just no, not at all?
So Levis, I kind of feel bad for Levis because I feel like people projected him, not people like Mel Kiper. So media personalities who are trying to stir up nonsense, right? They started projecting him above Stroud and above Bryce Young, and when you start doing that, people are like, "All right, this kid is not that good. He has certain issues." My main thing with Levis is he has issues reading defenders' leverage. That basically means, hey, if the corner is able to undercut a route or the linebacker is there to undercut a route, he just either is trusting his arm too much to make the throw anyways, or he's just not seeing that guy, not realizing the positioning. And I've seen that doom a lot of QB prospects. And he's not so good outside of that flaw like Richardson is that I feel safe betting on him in the top half. But I think at the end of the first or the second round, if you're drafting Will Levis, that's not a terrible selection. I think he does a lot of stuff well. He just you're banking on more improvement than I feel comfortable in the first round.
Did CJ Stroud really help him his stock that much against Georgia? Yeah,
because the big thing about the Georgia game, he did a lot of the stuff that I had question marks about, which was mainly response to pressure. And then making kind of improv plays. I'm sure you remember, we all were watching that game. It was an awesome game. He was getting outside the pocket, hitting deep downfield throws. Usually he struggled with that a little bit more, which you wouldn't expect because he's a really good athlete, right? You'd expect him to be able to buy time and kind of make these athletic throws and avoid pressure. But he struggled with that. I think the Iowa game is a good example of him kind of having issues with pressure and making bad throws. But my favorite thing about Stroud is he has probably the best arm in the class. If you watch his tape, even his bad games, he is making some incredible throws. I'm talking just threading the needle between three defenders, over the top of a linebacker, outstretched arm of a DB, just barely missing it. He makes incredible throws. So when he's protected in the pocket, I think he's the best quarterback in the class. It's just when things break down a little bit. But the Georgia game, that helped his stock a lot. That's putting him in the conversation with Bryce Young.
I like it. Anybody else catch your eye?
So I really like Clayton Tune. Obviously, I've watched about 5 or 6 games of him. He's the quarterback out of Houston. He just does a lot of stuff well. He's pretty smart in structure. So inside the pocket, he makes good plays happen. He can get outside the pocket, do some improv stuff. And then, I think he's just a pretty smart quarterback. Someone mentioned, someone smarter than me, Derek Clausen he does a lot of QB stuff on Twitter. He mentioned that he doesn't always attack outside one-on-ones, which I didn't see, but I'll review the film again on that. But I like Clayton Tune. And then Aiden O'Connell from Purdue, he's kind of a traditional pocket passer who's more mobile than you might think. So he can get outside the pocket and make some stuff happen, but just really accurate, smart guy, good pocket feel. So he's another one of those kind of older archetype quarterback that I think might do well in the NFL.
Got it.
Steve, now I got a question for you. I'm a bit confused, buddy. You,
Go ahead.
you are a big fan of Bryce Young. I just heard you ran on Bryce Young. When you
Yes.
talked about CJ, you seem more excited about CJ. Now I'm confused, buddy. Like, which one of these guys is your guy? Is it Bryce
So
Young or CJ?
here's the reason I got excited about CJ, because I want all these guys to succeed, right? And CJ hoped himself so much in that Georgia game where I feel like Bryce Young was already kind of consensus QB1.
Okay.
Where CJ Stroud, I think he did so much to improve his own stock just with that game. It makes me excited for him. And if he works out, like, he's going to be super fun. But to me, Bryce Young, I don't want to get a guarantee, because last two quarterbacks I put a guarantee on was Patrick Mahomes, sweet, and then Deshaun Kaiser, not so sweet. So I don't want to put guarantees out there, but he's just really fun. And Bryce Young, if he doesn't work out, I'll be really surprised. So that's why I don't get that excited about him. It's almost just like a guarantee to me. I just said the word I said I wouldn't say, but
I got you.
I like it. And appreciate it, Andy. Said, get them likes up, guys. Yeah, man. Make sure y'all smash that like button for us. All right, good question here, man, from Alberta. Is Stetson Bennett, Taylor Heineke 2.0, or more of an Eric Couch, former Nebraska QB?
Stetson Bennett's actually solid. He's just so old. It's like, do you really want to bet your money on that? He kind of reminds me of
so old.
A little bit. I mean, yeah, I say that, but for a draft prospect, right?
Like Chris Winkie. Chris Winkie back in the day. He was like 26 coming out of Florida State.
But I do think he could be a Taylor Heineke, like, where he's a high quality backup quarterback in the NFL.
Liam said Bennett will have problems due to his size.
Yeah, he is really fast though. I did not realize how good of an athlete he was. So you really watch the film and you see him. He's an athlete. Man. Like, he's quick.
Yeah, he's a lot quicker than you'd think he would be. All right, man. So after the quarterbacks, we'll hit this real quick and we'll go on to underrated, overrated. Steve, your top free agency targets, man, for us.
All right.
Oh, this is gonna be
so the first one I really want to get, I really like Jacoby Meyer because he mostly fills a need. And Arthur Smith talked about this, I want to say, in his interview he did, where he said he wants to get more explosive at the wide receiver position. Mm-hmm. Drake London's a really good possession receiver. Jacoby Myers can kind of do everything, but he has the high-end speed to kind of be that number 2 wide receiver alongside, Pitts and London. So I really want him because I think he can just do a lot. There's a couple defensive guys. So outside of all the Saints connections, just due to who we hired as a defensive coordinator, we're getting connected to Davenport. Caden Ellis, who's a linebacker over there, he kind of was really good for the Saints down the stretch. I really want Jesse Bates because when it comes to the defensive scheme that we're going to be trying to run,
Jesse Bates. I don't think we ask nobody that don't want Jesse Bates. I think that's the one thing that Falcons fans can honestly agree on.
All come together.
All of Twitter. Yeah.
But especially because from what I saw when I was watching, first of all, I want you to know it hurt me physically. Like, I was cringing when I pulled up the Saints all 22 to watch their defense.
Yes.
They ran a lot of like single high safety stuff, which I think Richie's okay at, but that's like Jesse Bates' thing. That's what he does. He's a single high safety. He's really damn good at it. So I would love to get him. And then there's a couple other guys, it kind of depends. Are we going to try to go after the one big name, or are we going to try to get a bunch of depth pieces? Arizona has a defensive tackle that I watched, Zach Allen. Super fun. He would be awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah, he would be fun to have. Honestly, I feel like there's a lot of good depth pieces in this defensive class, so I could keep naming off names, but those are kind of the big ones that I'm looking at. Like
any interest in any corners that are out there, like whether it's Bradbury or? So I wouldn't mind Bradbury. That said, I would prefer we address it in the draft, just because that's kind of how I view DBs. I think it's easier to get them in the draft for outside of your AJ Terrells, right? So you're outside of your dominant number ones. You can usually find like a good nickel corner, or, a number 2 or number 3 corner in the draft with relative ease. That's why I would rather us focus on defensive line in free agency and then try to get an elite guy at the top of the draft and then just kind of pick for need from there on. You think hang on, I'll come back to that in a second. Liam said Bobby Wagner and Taylor Lewan could be good vets.
I'm going Bobby Wagner every time. I don't care if he's 67. I'm going Bobby Wagner.
I would snag Bobby Wagner.
Yeah, I'd be down with that. Taylor Lewan, we talked about it a little bit on the last show. His injury concerns. He's kind of old. He's never played right tackle before. he's a nasty offensive lineman. I mean, like that's the good thing about him whenever he's in there. But no, I mean, what you were just saying, Steve. Yeah, I tend to agree with you, man. Like I'd rather go after the kind of proven NFL guys when you can get a line, D-line or pass rush or something like that. Whereas that's not always a given in the draft, where it is a little bit easier to find some of those corners. So you could tell, like last year, you could tell Sauce is going to be a player, regardless. There's no way that guy's going to be a miss. So here we go. Miss B said, "I like Steve. Very knowledgeable."
Appreciate it.
Steve knows what he's talking about. Yeah, this is why I leave the
No.
Alvaro said Draymond Jones. Yeah,
Draymond Jones, interior pass rusher. He would be fun to have.
Steve, absolutely. Just for everybody, Steve, I gotta throw a grenade and run.
Do it.
Steve, why should the Atlanta Falcons go with Desmond Ridder?
All right, Desmond Ridder, man. That's my guy. He's been my guy since pre-draft. You know how rare it is for your team to actually make you super happy and draft your number one quarterback? Okay. It is. I hope it happens one day, because the high I was on, it was nothing could ruin my day. Nothing could ruin my week. Nothing could ruin my month. I was so happy we got Desmond Ridder. He's my guy. My big thing with Dez that I think we should roll with him for is because what he showed isn't what he necessarily fully showed in college. I think there were some traits that were similar, but when you look at those last two games, and really, I even think the second half of the Baltimore game, he showed a lot of growth. He was smart with the football, which is something he was in college. He showed anticipation. He was patient in the pocket. I think the Saints game, his pocket presence was really bad, and that's rare because in college, he was super good in the pocket. Like, his pocket feel was really good. And then the other reason I think we should stick with Ridder is because if you're going to draft a quarterback, you either need to trade up to get one, because I'm expecting even Levis to go in the top 10, because I think NFL front offices are dumb. So I think they're going to draft him in the top 10. So if you want to get a good quarterback, you're going to have to trade up. You're going to have to pick whichever guy falls to you, which isn't really the way you want to go about selecting your quarterback. Where if you decide, like, hey, we liked what Dez showed us the last 4 games and in the preseason, and what he showed us over the training camp and the season in practice, we can keep Dez, run with him as quarterback, and then we can draft an elite defensive player at 8. And that improves the team as a whole, because I think offensively we're mostly there. And the other thing I'll say with Dez is, we kind of all saw it. Those last 4 games, especially those last 2 games, the offense opened up. We were passing the ball. If Damiere Byrd would have caught that deep ball against Arizona on the sideline, we would all be losing our mind. But since he dropped it, nobody cares, and they just quote his yards. They're like, "Oh, he didn't even pass for 200 yards that game." I'm like, "Well, he would have caught the deep ball, would have been 248 yards and like 2 touchdowns." So I don't like the box score scouting. I think you look at the tape, you see a smart dude. You saw him improve every game. Like Arthur Smith said, he didn't repeat the same mistakes, and his connection with London was really good. And I think that's what you'll see with Pitts as well. So in my opinion, there's less reason to move on from him than to draft a new guy, because we've seen enough. We know he could potentially be the guy, because the only thing he needed to do is prove he's not the guy. He couldn't go out there and suck completely for 4 games. And he didn't. He sucked for 1 game. The Saints game was bad outside of the 4th down throw. The other 3 games he played well. And at that point, what are you rewarding your players for? If you're basically saying, hey, you improved, you did a lot of good stuff, we're going to give this rookie, the 4th quarterback in this draft, your position. And people talk about earning it. Does getting selected at 8 overall make you earn the pick? It's always a weird conversation to me, but I would stick with Desmond. I think he showed a lot. I love him. I probably watched the most Desmond Ridder tape out of anybody except his mom. Because I watched his junior year, I watched his senior year, I watched all his preseason stuff, NFL stuff. He's my guy. If he doesn't work out, I'll be really sad. I'm waiting for him.
The one I have when I talk about Matt Ryan, I can see it in your eye, buddy. I
get that gleam.
I like it, man. I mean, and the you said the connection with London. I mean, like he targeted London a minimum of 8 times in those 4 games, and with Marcus, he never got targeted more than 7 times. And it's like, you know, you have to give your number one receiver an opportunity to go up there and make a play. You know, I mean, even if it's you drafted, he's 6'5". I mean, even if he's single coverage, you give that guy a chance to go up there and make. That's what he's good at. He's good at boxing out and making those plays. So I mean, he knows that. So yeah, I mean, and it'll be. I think you're right, man. I think you add his full complement of receivers. You throw in Kyle. You throw in a true wide receiver number 2. You know, whether it's Akia stays as 3 or not, that's fine. But yeah, if he goes up there and earns that job, man, I'm like Mike and I have said really since this whole quarterback thing has started since the beginning. If they want to ride with Ritter, man, I'm totally fine with it because I see the same things you saw on film. You know, you can't look at the box and say that's what it is because you can't. There's no way to do it. But if you go out and, you know, if they think that Lamar is the answer to everything, then they better have a damn good plan to back it up. You know, and I'm trusting that they will do that. So. I'm good either way, man. I'm like you, and I best case scenario is your $1 million quarterback is the guy.
Yeah,
I mean that's what everybody should be hoping for.
Better case is that he is the guy, but then the playoffs coming, he get hurt. Man, Matt Ryan in retirement. We call Matt Ryan. I want to come back. He lead us through the playoffs. Super Bowl win for Matt Ryan. Desmond Ridder get it the year after.
I want that beautiful walk off into the sunset for Ryan too, Mike. Brian, all my memories of the Falcons pretty much have Brian in them. I love that man. He's great to the city. You know, I remember when he got traded, he did that big radio tour where you could have probably asked him to come on any pod. He'd have been like, sure. You know, he loves this city. I love Brian. I would love to see him get something.
I want him as a part of the staff when we do it. I believe wholeheartedly that we will do it in the next 6 years, maybe. I believe wholeheartedly we will do it. I just suck that he won't be a part of that because I feel like he earned it.
Yeah. Man.
Last thing I wanted to mention, John, about the whole draft stuff is I know some people aren't big into Ritter. I want to be clear. If the Falcons do draft somebody, I'm not going to be that upset. Like I personally wouldn't do it. If they do it, I can understand the mindset.
Sure.
And if they go for Lamar, I think I wouldn't personally do it. But if they do it, again, I can understand the mindset. So I really don't think there's a wrong move necessarily other than drafting Will Levis at 8. That's the wrong move.
That's the wrong move.
But outside of that, I think you can do you have like 4 options and none of them are wrong. So again, before anybody gets up in their feelings, if we draft CJ Stroud at 8, I'm not going to be upset because I think he's a good prospect. So
you just want to win, baby. That's it.
That's it. Win, baby.
Good point by Alberto here. It's a quick fix O-line, Dalton Risner, and Mekhi Benton. Yeah.
That's why you got to love Berto. He's going to come with that shit. Yep.
Kenny, what's happening, buddy?
Kenny, there we go.
Kenny said, sorry I'm late. I was at my girl's high school. Did she score? You got to let us know. Still excited to hear what you guys cooking up. You know we always cooking. Always on fire, buddy.
We appreciate you, Kenny.
And we got my man Steve on the show. You got to love it. Oh, there go Berto. It really is the guy. Who you bringing in for a backup, or who you bringing in to challenge Ritter aside LJ?
Lamar Jackson. So if it was me, I personally like Jacoby Brissett. If you want like a high-end kind of backup or low-end starter, I think Jacoby Brissett's a good option. Outside of that, backup quarterback's a weird spot, man. Like, what are you really doing? Are you just going to grab a random guy? Because you want to give Desmond Ridder kind of like a fair competition, so you can't go out and sign, like Lamar Jackson or something and be like, well, it's a fair competition. It's not. If you sign Lamar Jackson, he's the starter. Like, that's just how it works.
$250 million. He's starting.
Yeah, that's how it works. So I don't know. There's a lot of options.
I'm going.
Coach Mo, what's up, bud? He said Ridder was running an offense mainly built for Mariota, and Dez could sub in for next season. It'll be built differently to be more in line with Ridder's.
Great point, Joe.
Yeah, that is good.
I like it, Joe. Come on back, buddy. Miss B. Sonny, I used to love Matt so much. I used to take up for him all the time. Well, that's my family.
You damn right.
Hey,
you damn right, Miss B. I love you for that. And you take up for Matt until he passed away. I'm gonna be a.
I've gotten more Matt Ryan arguments than anybody else because I'm he's one of those players I get emotional about because like I have so many emotional connections with him. I can't be rational. When people were cheering for him sucking on the Colts, I was getting so mad I had to just walk away. I was like, I can't take this.
I got the Colts jersey, Steve. I got the Matt Ryan Colts jersey.
Oh, see, Mike, I love you. That's awesome.
I got it, buddy.
Mm-hmm. All right, man. So before we go on to underrated, overrated, real quick, Steve, we normally do to start this when we have guests on, but we forgot at the beginning of the show. So real quick, how the hell did you become an Atlanta Falcons fan?
Oh, hell
So, obviously I'm from, the Georgia area, so I'm close to Atlanta, like 30 minutes west, living kind of Canton area growing up. I really became a Falcons fan probably like 2008. My sister was a Packers fan because she thought Brett Favre was hot. So she's the one who kind of got me watching football initially because nobody else in my family was super into it. Root for the hometown team. I would say 2012 was the first season I really like felt it in my bones, and I was like, I'm going to read every single article. I'm going to study every single piece of thing I can find about this team. And I remember I was in Orlando when we lost to the 49ers at this random bar, and there was like a bunch of nice 49ers fans. Like, you'll get them next year. And I was like, don't talk to me right now. I'm so mad. And from then, man, I just ride or die with all my Atlanta teams. I'm a big Hawks fan too. There we go, Mike. I like that. I like that Colts jersey. Matt Ryan, man, he's ATL forever. I don't care what color he's in. But yeah, so ever since then, I've been just hardcore Falcons fan, hardcore Hawks fan. I'm not super big into baseball, but I always like to see the Braves do well just because it's the hometown team, right? Mm-hmm. I've been into draft stuff since about 2004. I did my first draft board with my buddy Jalen. That was fun. We had a shared draft board. He was the other guy who was really high on Mahomes, so we always liked to victory lap that. We ignored the Deshaun Kaiser part of that equation. But, yeah, that's kind of it, man. I'm just hometown team. That's really it.
I love it. I didn't even know you were actually from Georgia, so that makes...
Yeah. No, I've lived all over the place. I lived in Michigan, and now I live in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. And I'm probably going to be going to California next year, so I'm kind of all over the place.
Steve, I believe I speak for all of Twitter when I say that we need you to have like an article or something every week when for the Falcons, man. We love your take on shit. It's always informative. You can write really well. You use your motherfucking words like schematically and shit like that. We just need your info, buddy, on like a weekly basis. We love in the Twitter feed, man.
I've thought about doing stuff like that. Honestly, even just doing video schematic format breakdown stuff for certain players we get and all that stuff. It's just, I don't know. I think I should start doing more because all I do is my Twitter threads, which are fun because I love doing it on there because people talk to me and we get to talk football, and that's what I love to do. But yeah, maybe I'll put something out there here in the future.
You got to do it, Steve. Please go follow Steve and just get on his ass and tell him you got to put something out.
Oh man, put him on me. Yeah.
I told you somebody's gonna get after you.
Birdo, I had to do it. Birdo, Matty, I don't care.
That is not a Colts jersey. That is a Matt Ryan jersey.
I'm telling you, dog. I will defend this man like you until it's over, dog. This is my favorite number one human in the world and one of my favorite football players of all time. I love Matt Ryan. You just at the Hawks game with his son, the coolest dude.
Yeah, I saw that. And you know what? Trae Young honored him with a game winner.
Sure did. That was awesome. Which, by the way, good hire with Quinn Snyder. I was really happy about that. But that's another show. All right, guys. So we got about 15 minutes or so. We're already running kind of over, but that's okay. Let's do underrated, overrated, boys.
All right.
So anybody new to the show, we play some different stuff every week. Sometimes it's underrated, overrated. Sometimes it's in or out. It's a new one that we have called Put Brakes on Your Skates that we'll probably do next week. Steve, you want to start off, buddy?
All right. Underrated, overrated. All right. So this one is something that's been bothering me a little bit because I see it propping up not just in football, but basketball, baseball. It doesn't matter what the sport is. Announcers across all sports, they're overrated. The constant criticism towards they say this same phrase over and over, and I'm over here does it actually bother people that much? Because to me, it's just kind of white noise. Like even Tony Romo, I always laugh when he says Jim like the seventh time in a row. I'm like, it's funny. I love it. It's really funny to me. I think announcers, they can make it better, but I've never seen an announcer make it bring a broadcast down so much it actually bothered me. But I see it on Twitter all the time. Mm-hmm. So I think they're overrated.
I will say Joe Buck does bother the hell out of me. But anyway, that's just me. But go ahead.
So I got one underrated. I just maybe did just like 2 weeks ago. I'm doing it again. Lil Wayne, okay? Lil Wayne dropped a new song. It's called Can't Nobody with a K. When we get off the lot, just go listen to Lil Wayne and tell me if he even dropped off a little bit. This man been doing this for over 20 years. To me, is the best rapper alive, the best rapper ever. Lil Wayne is the GOAT. Can't Nobody. He dropped a new song. you would think it was on the decline at some point. It's just not. It's Lil Wayne to go.
He's good. I like that.
I like it, man. I like it. All right, I'll do my overrated first. That's having the best equipment when it comes to sports, and particularly like baseball, because my son's 12 and he plays baseball, and it's the most damn expensive sport to play. Because I mean, like, look, when I was, I know I sound like the old man screaming at clouds, but when I was a kid, like, literally used the same bat for years that I bought. My parents probably bought from Walmart. That was like an Easton, I don't know, $45 bat. I have no idea. But man, like these kids now, man, like they have literally sound like my dad. These kids now, damn. But like but anyway, he plays travel baseball, and $300 glove. Bats are $200, $300, $400. I mean, like to play at a good organization, $200-$300 a month possibly. And then you got everything else good. And it's insane, man. Like, but what kills me is my dad. Like when I played golf with my dad a lot, I'd always want new clubs, and he'd be like, "Son," he's like, "a $300 club ain't fixing that $2 ass swing you got."
Oh no!
And he wasn't wrong. Because I mean, my first set of clubs was like a used set of clubs my uncle gave me, and so I was like, I don't need this shit, man. Like this was used in like 1975. Like I need some new good clubs. And like, man, and my dad was like, I don't give a shit if you're using the brand newest King Cobra out here, man. You're gonna hit it straight into the tree regardless. So, that pissed me off at the time, but he was right. Yeah. He was right. And so we try to and if Liam's still on here, I don't know if he's still listening or not. When we get him, man, some of the because he has to, you want him to be able to compete, right? So you don't want to leave him behind. So you have to, so we try to get him, but he has used the same bat for a couple of years. 2 seasons now, 3 seasons. So that does go around, but I do think it's overrated, man, because if most of it's mechanics, man. Most of it's like if your swing's jacked up, it doesn't matter what kind of bat you're using. You got to hit the barrel. You got to find that barrel somehow, or if, the glove, as long as you can catch the ball and, then, it's there, dude. It's just, it's insane. Like in baseball in particular, I know we're a football podcast, but baseball in particular, man, if you're trying to get kids to play the game more, you got to make this shit more affordable, dude. Like it's, you wonder why they play basketball more or football? Because all you need is a ball and a basket and you go outside and you play. So anyway, that's my rant. All right, I'm good. Next, you got underrated, Steve?
Yeah. So this one is football related. So the big kind of discussion point over the past this couple season is always like going for it on 4th down. I think field position has actually become underrated because sometimes like during the season we would just punt to pin a team deep. We'd be at like our 45, be like 4th and 4 or something, 4th and 3. And all I would see is like, I can't believe Arthur Smith didn't go for it. But I'm like, we're playing, who's like a terrible quarterback we played. I don't know. There's a lot. We played a lot of bad quarterbacks. We're playing Andy Dalton. Like if we want to pin Andy Dalton at his 10-yard line, that's not a bad strategy. That's like completely fair. But all I feel like I ever see, does not matter what the situation is. If as a coach these days, if you're not going for it on 4th down, people get mad at you. And even when it works out, people are like, well, you're lucky it worked out. I'm like, wouldn't you be just as lucky if you got the 4th down conversion? I like the aggression trend, but I feel like people are overcorrecting. And if you ever punt now, people are just, you're a coward and you're a terrible coach and you should have gone for it on 4th and 6. That's what I do in Madden every single time.
Yeah, that's a great one, dude. That's a great one. Anthony said underrated, overrated, NFL reviewing all the roughing the passer calls. That absolutely should be done.
I was going to say, I think that's underrated because that needs to be done.
I always say Tupac. Since Tupac gone, it got to be Wayne.
Little
baby, Mr. B. Come on, pop your hand.
That's got to be a trap. I don't believe that for a second.
I love Little Baby, but come on. Somebody said, okay, Kenny said, thanks for asking. Yes, so she got buckets.
There we go.
Okay, but like I told all the girls, the main thing is that W now in the championship, just like the fight. See, that's a good. Come on,
hey, that's what I like. That's what I like. Winning games, getting that dub, getting buckets. That's awesome.
Bodie,
what's
happening, bro?
What's cracking?
Good to see you, dude. Make sure y'all check out One Time for the Fan, man.
So I got a good one. I have a good one, and this is actually brought to me by my man Steve up here. Okay, and he has no clue this is coming. But
bring it on.
But what is to me overrated is a blind support of your brands. Because Steve brought up a great point on Twitter. What I felt like was this: Steve, when Steve got the shirt that he's wearing right now, okay, Steve tweeted something that was very important. So I just want to read this real quick, okay?
Oh boy.
Steve says, "I truly encourage everyone to support each other when able. I've been needing more gym clothes, and I'm like, my money's going for this shirt. I mean, he was like, his money's going to that shirt instead of over a random Nike tee for about the same price. Plus, it genuinely looks good and feels good to wear. So
There
I
it is.
double win." You gotta love that. I appreciate that because I think that is if you can support like your Apple products and your Nike products. I'm not even talking about just us. If your man rap and you not buying the thing,
Yeah.
you're not buying the ticket. If your boy got a clothing line and you won't buy that sweatshirt, but you would spend something on some Gucci. If your boy have a podcast and you won't go to that and hit the like button, but you will click on like a IG a model's her photo and hit like,
Yeah.
you're a fucking douchebag. Hey, like you're a fucking douchebag. Support your people, man. I don't even care. No, I can't say that because that's illegal. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I can't. I'm in enough trouble. But
Shit.
always support. If you're gonna go get, I say this. If you're gonna go get something, get it from your people. Keep the money in the circle. It's the point, you know. And I felt like that was a great point that he made. So I think, man, overrated is just blindly. I just want the name brand. You have people that do something, support them instead, maybe just every once in a while. I think that's dope. Thank you.
I love it. I love it.
No, man, I genuinely believe that stuff because I think if everybody supports each other, helps each other, because I'm a much different person than I was even just 3 years ago. I think I'm more mature. I'm a better person than I was 3 years ago. And the biggest thing I've learned is because people supported me and helped me out when I needed it. And I just think if everybody does that to each other, doesn't matter if it's big or small. I don't care if it's a ride to the airport for free or if it's flying someone out somewhere and paying for their ticket. Whatever you can do within your own means to help somebody out, man, just do that. People won't forget it. Even if you do it just for the ego, you're like, you know what? I am a nice dude. Like I did that for somebody. That's fine too. Like a little bit. You're still doing something good, man. That's what I'm talking about. Be good to other people.
Love it. Out of your Falcon mind. I love it.
And I was saying there, yeah, make sure you guys go support Bodie and Jack at one time for the family.
Gotta do
Those
it.
guys are great, man. Make sure you guys check them out. Alberto said, John, I feel you, bro. My daughter playing softball. We spent $320 for the whole attire. Equals overrated. Yeah, dude. And no, when you start on the actual travel, the actual tournaments, like just for the team to enter the tournament, they're like $400 or $500 just to get the tournament. Oh yeah, and then you got to pay parking. You're paying to actually get in to see your kid play after you've already played for the tournament. So yeah, don't even get me started on that shit. And he said, Mrs. He's talking a bit. Never mind. James Bolt Bros.
There we go,
brother. Bolt Bros, my God.
You guys, man.
Underrated. Bolt Bros. I'm gonna say that every time.
Thanks, I need 95 back on the show with you guys. What is it? When is it happening? Man, it sometime soon, buddy. He's always welcome on our show.
Yep.
Tyler said, first time I catch it live. Sorry. I'm like, hey, brother, it's all
Tyler,
good.
what's up,
never there, man.
Better late than never.
Yeah, man. James said, facts, Mike.
There you go.
Buddy says, support your people, put it on a t-shirt. Yep. I love it, man. Joel said,
that one especially.
There it is. And Berto said, facts, Mike. Talk about it.
Yeah. And I always have to say this too. That is, to me, he's a great person for that. Is the one that just spoke, man, Berto, because the man got his own podcast. The love he show us is like, that's my brother. He's actually texting me during this shit. That's why I keep laughing. Like, that's my real brother. That's my brother. So he just support, and we support him. We love Berto.
Absolutely.
Walking the walk, talking the talk. That's what we love to see.
You don't just
Jordan,
talk.
thank you.
You really live that shit out loud. That's why that's my brother. I love him.
100%, man.
Jordan said, have to clock in for work, fellas. Thanks for the great show tonight. Everyone stay. Hey, thank you for coming.
Hey, you stay safe too, man.
Yeah.
All right, man. And of course, Alberto said the power of positivity is awesome.
That's
it.
It's a great thing.
Hey, and that goes perfectly to our very last and my last underrated is the Out of Your Falcon Mind supporters and what listeners. All you guys are underrated, man. Because without you guys, I said this to Savion earlier. We were texting back and forth. I said, dude, without friends like you, brother, we don't grow, man. We don't grow. Like it's like Mike and I can't sit here and we could sit here and do this with ourselves, but it doesn't do any good without people that are joining the chat, watching live, watching the replay. Whenever you can support, whether it's listening, watching, man, we appreciate the hell out of every single one of you guys because we didn't know what we were doing when we started. We thought it was going to work out. We had no idea. We thought we'd be somewhat entertaining and somewhat informative. We didn't really know, but it's worked out, man. We've met Steve. We've met some amazing folks along the way, man, and we just, I mean, like Alberto, like Smitty. I don't even want to start naming them because I'll miss people. JR, all the guys. I mean, y'all know, man. Anybody that's retweeted us, anybody that's liked us on Twitter, anybody that's followed us, anybody that's shared any support whatsoever, bought our merchandise, man. Just y'all have no idea how much it means to Mike and I, man. Like we truly appreciate the hell out of it, and that's all we want to keep doing, man. And we just want to keep growing, so we'll keep doing this, bringing the content to you guys, having fun, having different guests on, and just making it entertaining, man. That's it. So you guys are underrated. Thank you all very much. How about that?
It's truly emotional. I have to throw this in there. I always have to say this. Me and John, when we start our Twitter and like our YouTube and everything, damn near still today, all the people that retweet us and all the people who support us have double, triple, quadruple, whatever the followers we have. So at times I'm in awe because I'm like, you have no reason to want to come on our show. You have no reason to want to retweet us. Like we can't really get you any followers. You might do something for us. We really can't.
Right.
There's no reason for you to want to come on our show. There's no reason for you to support us like you do. But the fact that they do, that's always means something to me. And the small things that I know when y'all look at the numbers, sometimes it may not be nothing to the average YouTuber or Instagram, but for me and John, that shit kind of means something. Every shirt that gets up, like, damn, they wanted to rock our shirt. That's weird to me, but that make me feel really good. And it could be something that you might see that you might think is low, but it really means a lot to us because every one of y'all means something to us. So thank you.
I wanted to just shout out both of you, John, Mike, because I will say, I've been on the whole kind of Falcons Twitter sphere since, 14, 15, something like that. Since y'all kind of got online and started interacting with everybody, this is the most I've seen kind of intermingled interaction between all the people I like to follow and talk football with. So I think y'all do a great job getting people engaged, getting people on here to talk. I certainly never thought I'd be getting up here, but you know what? I had a damn good time, and I thank y'all for getting me up here because I love talking football. So, and y'all done that with other people too, and that's an awesome thing. So y'all just keep doing what you're doing, man. I think the growth you're seeing is natural, and I think it's going to keep going. And I'm along for the ride to keep watching y'all, supporting y'all, and I'll just do awesome work. So,
thank you, man. That's great, brother. And you definitely coming back at this point.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
When we get into free agency, I'll be doing Twitter threads on everybody. Hey, that'd be the best time to hop on right before the draft, something like that.
Man. I mean, when we got started, man, that's what we want to do. We want to reach out because we want to see who out there was cool and who wanted to come on with us. And like Mike said, I mean, we reached out to the Falcoholic. Dave had less than zero reason to come on with us.
None.
Dave is the coolest dude in the world for coming on with us. So, he's it's just fantastic, man. So I mean,
tangent, because I always like to shout out Dave. The Falcoholic is where I pretty much really started getting into like hardcore football discussion back when I was a teenager and all that. So just shout out the Falcoholic. And again, Dave's an awesome dude. I interact with him on Twitter some. Just funny man. Again, like you mentioned, he took time out to help somebody else out, and I think that speaks to his character. And he's just awesome dude.
100%, man.
And even Joe was one of the first people rocking with us. Joe was one of the first people on TikTok. When I said we got a TikTok, Joe was over there.
There you go.
And that's my mom. My mom was the first.
Hey, there we go.
Saw me naked. My mom was the first person that saw me naked. I love
that. Is a fact. That is a fact. Appreciate you, fan.
Thank you,
buddy. All right, man. So y'all got any parting shots before we close this thing down tonight?
I'm gonna let Steve go first.
I was gonna say, man, I think this was a pretty good debut for my first kind of hopping on a pod, and I think that was a lot of fun. I appreciate y'all offering me up here, and again, encourage everybody keep supporting John and Mike. I don't really have any super big plans at the moment, but if anything comes up, I'll be sure to mention them.
Damn right. Make sure you do that. Yeah, because like I said, man, we'll definitely look.
I want to say thank you again. We keep hitting milestones. Thank you again. We got to start somewhere, and it start with you guys. So every retweet, every like, every person that bought our merchandise, every person that tuned in live to the show, even if you retweet. When he said Savion, man, we can count on Savion to retweet anything. Him and Steve, that's those two dudes mean the world to me. Like those are my other brothers. So we love everybody. We love Steve. We love Uncle Steve. I don't want to get the name of people because somebody gonna get mad. My memory is shit. So I just want to say thank you for all the support, you guys, and for having fun with us, man. Because that's the main thing I told John. I just want to fuck around with people and fucking, stir some shit up. And you guys are always willing to do that. So thank you.
Yeah,
absolutely. Good night, Big John. Appreciate you, buddy.
Big John with the 4X. John got a 4X out of your Falcon Mind shirt. Now, how about that?
There you go. So, all right, guys. So we appreciate you all for tuning in tonight. I know we kept y'all like 2 hours. So, man, thank y'all so much.
But we had Steve on the show.
I appreciate everybody staying around. I like it.
I told y'all earlier on Twitter, man, we had a lot to talk about, and you guys were awesome in the chat. We appreciate that. So, as always, make sure you subscribe, like the video or the live stream, whatever. We'll be back. Mike's been fighting allergies all week. I've been busy as hell all week. We'll have the draft videos coming back probably tomorrow okay. So we'll have that back soon. I've got some guys to do. John had to correct you there, buddy. He said 5X, but he got that, 5X. So it's all good. But
we need him on the line.
So there you go. But yeah, man. But so we appreciate you guys. Like I said, if you're on iTunes, Spotify, drop us a 5-star review. We very much appreciate that. Helps us grow on those platforms. You can send us an email like Javon did, atlfalconfancast@gmail.com. Feel free to send us anything you want, and we will read it out as long as it makes somewhat sense and you're not trashing us.
Thank you, Javon. That meant the world, buddy.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So anyway, guys, we will catch. Oh, hang on. So Tyler said, "I'm bottom of."
That's what I like.
That's
I love it. That's what it's gonna look like.
Look
right there.
Buddy.
It's great.
Let's get it, buddy. I love it. So yeah, guys, we will see you guys again. We'll be back next Wednesday. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, we got Kenny G back on the show.
Kenny
G. Man, he was on last time, man. We were doing Zoom still, so he's going to be blown away by how much we So anyway, guys, we appreciate you all. Again, we'll see you next Wednesday. Tune in for the draft videos. We'll have it out. If anything drops, it's crazy. We'll put out a short. Who knows what? Again, thank you guys so much. Steve, man, thank you so much for spending 2 hours of your time.
Steve. Loved it. Loved every second.
Thank you, Steve.
Awesome, man. We will catch you guys later. Much love, guys.
Out of your Falcon mind. Peace.